Welcome back. This is Return to Tennis. I'm Aaron. Thanks for returning. So, been hitting the Donnay racket, right? Got that brand new Father's Day gift with that brand new 2023 Donnay Pro One OS. Was really excited for it. It's different than the original, as I have the original model from 1991, 92. I was really excited for this new version. A little wider beam. The frame, it's almost identical. It looks identical to the Head Radical Tour from 1993. The mold looks the same. Super comfortable, super flexible. 107 square inches. I was really excited. Played with it for a few times, took it out, took it to drills, point play, practices, and I struggled with it quite a bit. Was very unstable on backhands, especially one-handed, and I think that has to do with the large head size. Two-handed, it felt great. Two-handed backhands felt great. One-handed, it was just unstable. I couldn't stabilize it. Slightly similar problems at the net. One-handed, trying to hit volleys. A little unstable. I had to catch it dead center to maintain the stability of the frame. Was maneuverable, moved well, came through the air nice. Easy on the arm. Hit serves fine. But I really struggled to dial in the sweet spot. I was catching a lot of balls in the frame, and I could not figure out, okay, it's 107 square inch. I'm like playing with a stop sign. Why am I struggling getting the sweet spot? So I got frustrated with it. And one day, one morning, early into drills, I got fed up with trying to dial it in because I'm hitting balls into the fence. Great power. It has good power. If you hit it solid, ball's gone. But I could not get this thing under control. So I put it back in the bag, and instead I decided, well, I'm going to try something else. So I pulled out a Donnay Pro One 97. Now, the wonderful team at Donnay did a BOGO for me, and they sent me a 97 alongside the 107. So I pulled this one out, and I didn't know what to expect. I had seen reviews of this racket done by Jonas over at Tennis Nerd, and Harry at Tennis Spin. He had reviewed a model, I think maybe a previous version of this particular racket. It's a 16 by 19. It's the same weight, 305 gram static weight, but it's a 97 square inch head. And from everything I'd heard in other reviews is that it felt more like a pro stock racket, that it was super flexible, smaller sweet spot, and it kind of felt and played like a pro stock frame. So at drills, I pulled it out. I said, well, things couldn't get worse. Let's pull it out, see what happens. I actually had a much easier time dialing this one in than I did the 107. I don't know why, but I did. We're going to get out today. We're going to get some footage on camera hitting it, hopefully some good footage and not me just shanking balls the whole time, which seems to be the course lately. And talk a little bit more about it and how I feel about it. So it's hot, it's sunny. Let's take advantage of it, guys. Let's go. All right, here we go, guys. The Donnay Pro One 97. I actually did a little bit of a warm-up with the 107, the OS, to see if it was feeling a little different today. Nah, still kind of the same thing. Struggled finding the sweet spot. Not stable on one-handed backhands. Of course, two-handers felt good. Just not hitting as clean, which surprised me because it should be a little easier to hit with the larger head size. Nice slice. I really like the 97 on slice backhands. I hit them really clean most of the time. Oh, looks so good. Topspin backhands also are solid. The way it comes through the air is incredibly stable on the backhand side by comparison to the OS. It's like no wobble at all. It feels very similar to the Speed Pro, actually. Oh, there we go. Forehands take me a little bit longer to kind of get dialed in. I'm still trying to figure out a consistent swing path on the forehand side, and a lot of times I find myself hitting off my back foot still. That's a little better. Strangely enough, hitting off my back foot's usually when they go in, even though it's not the correct position. It feels good on forehands. It feels good on backhands. I've served well with it. But what I really started to notice with it in terms of the flex and the stability is when I take balls out of the air. I've heard other playtesters refer to rackets with low RAs as being noodly, like just too flexible. And I've never hit a racket that I felt that way until this one. This is extremely flexible, like even more so than I'm comfortable with on some shots. As a matter of fact, the flex is so evident when it comes to volleys, or blocking volleys, or swinging volleys, like taking balls out of the air as I go forward. That's where it becomes the most evident. And it's a bit of an issue. So if I'm volleying at the net, I have to pay extra care to have a very firm grip on the racket, to have a very strong arm position, strong wrist position when I volley, or the ball just dies. It just dies in the string bed and flops into the net. And what really kind of tuned me into that was a couple of weeks ago, I pulled out my Angel Custom 97. It's a stiffer frame. It's a 67 RA. I hadn't hit it in a while. I was out hitting, and I wanted to give it a swing. And the first thing I noticed right away was how much easier it was for me to take balls out of the air. Volleys at the net were crisp. Blocking volleys coming in from the back court were solid and deep into the back court. A completely different experience when compared to hitting something as ultra flexible as the Donnay Pro One 97. Like I said, ground strokes are good. They're controlled. They don't quite have the same kind of pop that I would get out of a stiffer frame, but they feel pretty good. I like my backhand especially off this one. But I don't get the same kind of pop or pace on serves that I do with stiffer frame. I don't get the same kind of stability and crisp feeling on volleys that I would out of a stiffer frame. So I'm kind of at a crossroads again. I may be going back towards the stiffer rackets, provided that my arm holds up. I've been experimenting with that. I've been spending some time hitting some stiffer frames to see, how do I feel the next day? Is my arm sore for the next 2 days? Or does it feel the same as it normally would after playing a couple of hours? So we'll see where it leads. Like I said, I do like ground strokes with the racket. I mean, it feels very comfortable, very easy to hit through the ball. Decent spin, not as much spin as some other frames, but it's solid. I was really nervous with this. I mean, being a smaller head size, and I'd heard that the sweet spot was kind of small, but I actually surprisingly hit it pretty well. Better than I expected it to. It is and I don't know if it's evident when looking at it, but it is a clone of the Head PT57A. And I'm not just saying that because I think that. Donnay actually advertises on their website that it is a PT57A, but at a fraction of the cost of a head model. So it's a clone. It really is. I mean, it's the Donnay version of the Head PT57. So here's an opportunity to get one kind of at a much lower price than if you were trying to get a actual PT57A. In any case, guys, we're closing down. It was a hot one out there today. Had some nice shots. Not as many as I'd like. But overall, I think the Donnay rackets are a little underrated. They don't have the market share that they used to have. That was nice. If you feel like getting a couple of Donnays, they're often doing BOGOs. It's a great opportunity to try to see, what they're doing different than some of the competitors. They are solid frames.
But that's all for me today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. May all your returns be for winners. Grab your racket, get off the couch, and get on the courts. Enjoy the weather while we can. We'll see you next time.